tour of Texas. 4-day blitz.
Here I am. This is part of the adventure. We got to get to the other side of Texas, and Texas is big.
Well, hello everybody. Syntax77 back with you here, and this video starts right now, right here actually. Not in the great outdoors with wind in my hair and in the microphone, but in my living room with a little echo and my bleary eyes on a late Tuesday night. Let me give you the little run of what's going down here, why I have this giant piece of luggage here. What this bag is mostly doing is protecting my backpacking gear and backpack so I can get on a flight, which is tomorrow morning, to do a 4-day blitz of adventure in Texas. Now, like I said, it's Tuesday night, so my wife has already been since Sunday in Texas on business. Fun, right? But as of Thursday night, she gets off of work and her flight's not back until Saturday night. So the idea was I poked around, found a flight that was cheap enough. I'll go out there, spend 2 days with her, and hang out. But just so happened that price-wise, the best opportunity for me was to fly out tomorrow morning. That's Wednesday. That gives me 2 days to putz around, I suppose. She's in San Antonio specifically, by the way, to putz around in San Antonio. Now I thought about that. I guess I could have walked around, spent a bunch of my money at coffee shops, and bought some knickknacks, and I'm sure it's a great city, but push the limits a little bit is what I'm in the mood for. So tomorrow we're gonna land at 11. I'm gonna grab a rental car right away. It's pretty flat around there as far as hiking goes, so here's the plan. I'm gonna boogie right away and do a 7-hour drive west to Big Bend, up and over around the kind of bend in the Rio Grande there to Big Bend National Park, and I'm gonna do a really quick blitz there. I'll get there that night, hopefully have time for sunset to do a little bit of hiking, sleep, wake up the next morning, see sunrise from another peak, get down off of that peak in the car on another 7-hour drive, but I'm going to switch it up on the way back. We're going to go 2 different routes each way, about 1,000 miles of Texas to show you, and then when we get back, it should hopefully be around 6 o'clock. My wife, I'll pick up. I'll continue driving another 3 hours, hit the Gulf Coast. We're gonna do some beach camping for about a day and a half. Then we're gonna come back Saturday night and fly back to Philly. That's the plan at least. So if you're still with me after all that, let's get going here. Actually, I'm gonna get to bed, get about 5 hours of sleep, wake up, get this adventure rolling. Here we go. 5:30 in the morning on the road.
Federal law prohibits tampering with, disabling, or destroying a laboratory smoke detector. Thank you so much for your attention. Please sit back and relax and enjoy our flight to San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, good old San Antonio.
We are born here in about the next 15 minutes. I do need your help. We'll have the seatbelt sign eliminated. I do need you to remain seated. Thank you.
If you plan to sleep, please make sure your seatbelt is visible to the flight attendants.
If you need to stretch your legs, this will be the time to do it.
Thank you so much, and we'll be landing soon.
And ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of this flight crew and Frontier Airlines, welcome to San Antonio, where the local time is 10:42 a.m.
All right, now who's ready to go for a 7-hour drive in this? Yeah, that's right. This is apparently a Spark or a Volt or a, I don't know, some sort of cute name made by Chevy. A little small, so we're gonna go 7 hours, 6.5, 7 hours west right now towards Big Bend. All right. Check the weather for the beach, and now they're saying for the Friday that we were going to be there for a beach camping trip, or at least I'm supposed to, and torrential downpours, severe thunderstorms predicted for Friday, which is our main day that we're going to be there. So I don't know what is being held in store for me right now. One thing I know for sure is, though, it's 12 o'clock, so I'm right on schedule, but I want to get there by 7 because sunset is at 8:45. Let's do this. Now, when a lot of people think of Texas, and I am guilty of this myself for sure,
they think of like what you see in the westerns, right? Old spaghetti westerns and stuff. Kind of barren, dry, dusty, orange, tans. Well, Texas is a big state, and while there are parts of Texas like that, most of it, or at least a lot of it, not quite so. I definitely found this out firsthand when I did a trip to Dallas with my wife, and we had a great time, but the point is, pretty flat, pretty green. So for those of you wondering why I'm getting to San Antonio and splitting 400 plus miles away to the west, it's because we got to get to the other side of Texas, and Texas is big. Once we get there, we'll be close to the Rio Grande and Mexico, and things will look a little more like maybe what you've got in your head if you have that stereotypical Hollywood vision of Texas. It's starting to get a little more hilly, more rocky, a little more patches of dust here and there. It's about, or it is 2:57 now. I've had to make 2 stops so far. I hit Walmart because I had to buy some canister stove fuel. I could not bring that on the plane, even in my checked luggage. I also loaded up on like 3 1-gallon water jugs. No water where I'm going for the most part, so bringing plenty. And some of these backcountry roads, you don't want to get broken down without water, so loaded up on water and fuel, and then I realized about 15 minutes ago that I didn't have energy drinks. Should have got that at Walmart as well, but instead I just hit a little Exxon or Texaco, something like that. We're getting closer to the border now. We're about 45 miles from here is Del Rio, which is pretty much on the border, I do believe, or close to it. At that point, when we start following, kind of skirting the border on the American side, of course, going northwest, and then we go up around the kind of curve in the border there, and then dip back down into the other little part of Texas there. So yeah, it was actually pretty cool when I went to the gas station. Instead of a hot dog roller thing sitting there, it's just all like different Mexican cuisine, and just a totally different vibe. You almost feel like you're in Mexico all of a sudden. But we are still in Texas, I know that. I did see my first Border Patrol little headquarters on the side of the road. Made sure not to pull into that. Kept going towards Del Rio, so that's what I got going on now. Just another 296 miles to go. Let's see if we can't get through this. Maybe a little bit of the old energy drink. We just might make it. It's pretty interesting. I'm liking this. This trip is a lot about road tripping. And, you know, some people might think it's crazy to do 7 hours of driving, sleep, wake up, see a sunrise, and do 7 hours back and then another 3. But you know what? This is part of the adventure. I mean, I'm out here and I'm seeing stuff that I would not otherwise see, and all it took was a little bit of effort and a tiny bit of planning, and here I am. So I can't say it enough. Get out there and do stuff that seems weird, because weird is out of your element, and out of your element is interesting, and then you actually remember what you did instead of being just another day. First time I've seen water in a little while, that's for sure. Okay, well, that was interesting and unexpected. I kind of thought this might happen when I saw the previous Border Patrol area. I was just driving down the street, there's flashing lights on a sign. It says if these lights are flashing, you must go through inspection. They had these things up, like the orange poles in the ground, to divert you off the road into the inspection station, which I wasn't expecting. And I got nothing but camera gear and goodwill, but I got nervous for no reason. It's funny. So I pull up, got my ID out, I'm all ready, and I just asked me, state my citizenship. I said United States. He said, are you alone? I said yes. He looked around, asked if I had anything in the trunk. Then he laughed about the fact that this vehicle doesn't really have a trunk. I said there is actually a hatchback with some water in it, some snacks, and he said, okay, thanks. So that was that. It was interesting. So even though I didn't cross the border, you know, there are stations throughout here where they will check, because these are the only roads for miles around. So presumably, if if you were up to nefarious things, just because you got past the border, they don't have to actually be on the border. They can be checking at these little stations, or so it seems. Anyway, moving along, it's 221 miles now, so we knocked out 80 miles before my little adventure back there at the Border Patrol. All right, let's keep it moving. Certainly getting a bit more elevation change now as well. Oh, I should probably explain to you a little more detail about what exactly is going on with my little sunset, sunrise adventure this afternoon. Now, I have all my backpacking gear with me. I do. But here's the thing. I already looked into it, and I already know darn well, and right now it's already 4:48. You cannot backcountry camp anywhere in Big Bend without a permit, $10 permit. No big deal. I'm okay with the 10 bucks. You can only get the permit in person, whereas some places you can just get a self-service box. Only in person. They even want to take a boot print from you, I guess, you know, just in case they need to identify your boot prints. Anyway, there's no way I'm getting there before the visitor center closes. I know it. I've seen, they won't even give you a definite on the website. They just say the time varies, but from what I've seen, it can be as early as 4 o'clock. So I kind of expected that. I brought all my gear just, you know, for best wishes and all. And I even thought about not even coming out here. And then I said, no, I'm not going to be dissuaded. And it took me a while to come to this conclusion, but there is a car, I know, subtle. There's a car campground there called Chisos Basin Campground. Holds about, it's got 60 spots, pull-up car spots, and then you can set up a tent. Not my normal style, but you know what? It's in the middle of a beautiful area, and I just don't care. I want to see some amazing stuff. It's like the last week of May. Shouldn't be terribly popular, although I looked online. You can reserve 30 of the sites, and 30 are first come, first served. 30 are reserved already, so that shows you I won't be alone tonight. But my plan is just roll up, and then if I get a campsite, great. Even if there isn't a campsite, I will park my car. I don't care. I don't know if you're supposed to do this, probably not, but I will just sleep in my car. When I get there, I'm going to throw my stuff together real quick. I'm going to hit the trail. It's called the Window Trail. This is supposed to be a great view for sunset. It's 1.5 miles each way. So I'm going to hit that sucker hard, hopefully, at least get a glimpse of sunset. I know, not an out-and-out backpacking adventure like normal, but in a lot of ways, this is still quite the adventure, so I'm okay with that. Cruising through the town of Sanderson, just picked up some gas. If I can give you one tip, especially if you're in a vehicle with about a 2-gallon tank on it like mine, fuel up and fuel up often. Even if you think it's ridiculous. I saw some gas back that first time when I said I went to the gas station for the energy drinks. Had like 3/4 of a tank or something like that. I hadn't been onto the trip that much. Well, that's the last time that I saw gas, maybe one other time, but that's about it. So I got down to about a range of 70 miles, and finally I hit Sanderson here and picked up some gas. So that was a little scary. Maybe if you're in a normal sized car with a regular tank, you wouldn't have that issue as much, but pay attention to gas. Soak up those gas stations when you get a chance if you're doing this drive. Other than the little gas scare though, it's starting to look pretty cool around these parts. I can dig it. Nothing but open road in front of us. Feeling good. Finally seeing signs for Big Bend. But it's 6:30, I still got about an hour to go. So I added about an hour to my projected time, which makes sense. I mean, I had to make a couple stops. So when I get there, I'm really gonna have to hit the ground, really make a run for this window trail. All right, we are officially in the park. Just went through the entrance station. Still got 34 more miles to go until we hit the campground. Did I mention it's a big park? Uh-oh. Chisos Basin Campground full. Whatever. I didn't drive 6 hours to turn around. Looking at Google Maps before I came, there should be, yes, overflow parking right here. And we're just going to park over here. Grab the GPS. Don't really need a spot, but, well, actually I do. I sent a message to my wife just to let her know I'm at the campground because there's no cell service. Grab this for reference, get on the trail. It's quite peaceful and quiet so far. Should have just about a little under an hour till sunset here. Man, nice to be moving around. 15 hours of travel, I just realized at this point I've been doing. The legs aren't quite what they normally are, I guess. There it is, 3.6 mile round trip. Oh, well, at least I don't have time to worry about that or that. Ignorance is bliss, or focus is bliss. If you can focus on something else, why think about being eaten by lions? The views might be a little bumpy for a bit, people. I gotta get moving. Good news is, it's downhill on the way there. Bad news is, I'll be slogging uphill on the way out in the dark. That's alright. It's not like I have a campsite to set up. Now it has dawned on me that perhaps because of a mountain range that's blocking the view a little bit, the sun may have already crested. Yeah, I'm not going to think about that. I'm trying to move fast, but at the same time I'm being blown away by the scenery around me. Back through some cover. Should be about a quarter mile now. Whew. You see that up there? That is a nice glow. You gotta get up there. 8:25. I think it's 8:45 actually for sunset. Oh, brought us out into this little chute. Some nice looking stairs chiseled in there too. Whew, it's hot. Man, look at this view. Well, that certainly is nice, and it has officially set at this point. So, rather than sitting here until it's completely dark to move, I think we'll head out. Still some pretty cool views on the way out, so we'll check that out. Well, there's still a little bit light, and we'll just make our way back to the car. I'm not going to bother breaking out my camp stove and cooking any hot meals. It's just too much to mess with in the parking lot. So, I have some jerky and some other cold things, and hit the hay right after that probably. Get up around 5, see what we can do.
lovely, comfortable way to spend the night in my Chevy clown car here. As you can see by the dash up there, it's 5 or 9 a.m. Woke up at 5 as planned. Put a little saline solution in my dry eyeballs. Look, not a lot of time for talking right now. I'm gonna throw my front pack on, load up some snacks, small backpack with some water. We're gonna get out there. I have on my GPS the trail listed so I can kind of stumble around and find that in the dark. We'll hit the trail before the sun comes up. Sunrise should be 6:55 or something like that. Time is a ticking, so I'm gonna head out. There we go, Basin Trailheads. Emory Peak is what we're headed for, 5.3 miles. Let's turn this light off though. The moonlight's actually pretty nice. You can see the sky starting to lighten up over there. It's about 6:12, so we got about 30-40 minutes to go, but it's starting to show its effects over there to the northeast. Over there's mountains. Won't be long now. We'll actually be able to see what's in front of our face. Pretty peaceful. Got the range to myself, at least it feels that way, right? Breakfast of champions. Pop-Tarts. Suddenly very bright. It's still technically 4 or 5 minutes until sunrise, but I can see where I'm going. Breeze feels good. I'm feeling good. Having a little breakfast. Moving along on the trail. A little fun fact for everybody out there too that I'm quite excited about. Pop-Tarts. Once you take them out of the box, you can't tell what flavor they are. I often buy Pop-Tarts for various hikes, and I never really eat them at home because a 400 calorie blast of sugar is usually not exactly what you need to start a day at the office. But, long story short, I grabbed some Pop-Tarts. Can't tell what they are. They're not generous enough to label them, are they? Opening up this morning, I don't know what I'm gonna get. Pow, what's that, people? You see stripes in there? I see stripes. I got a s'mores. Could have been peanut butter. Classic strawberry. Okay. S'mores for breakfast. Whew. On top of a mountain ridge. It's gonna be a good day, people. Still see that moon up there pretty good. That definitely gave me some light. About 3/4 full last night. Didn't help so much with the stars, neither did the overcast, but actually when I woke up this morning is when I got the best view of the stars because the skies had cleared up a bit, which was nice. Hitting some switchbacks here. So it's nice, you'll get a little moderate burst of elevation gain and then a nice little ridge section like this. In a view, like that, over there. Not getting beat up too terribly, going on 3 miles in now already actually, and we're at 7 o'clock. Now, I gave myself a time limit. 3 hours in or up and 2 hours down. If I get to the peak or not, you know, wasn't a definite in the plan and still isn't, because I really do need to get back to the car so that I can do my road trip number 2 through the great land of Texas and get back to my wife on time to do our adventure. Whatever that adventure may be, since there was apparently a tropical storm going for the Gulf. I don't know if that's where we're going to head after all, but yeah, so around 8:30 I got to turn around, so I got about an hour and a half to soak it in and then take the hike down. But it'll be cool because I did most of that in the dark, right? So I'll get to actually see what it looks like on the way out. Speaking of views, getting some nice cactus along the way, which is nice for a northeastern hiker like me. None of the saguaro cactuses like we saw in the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. Now this is actually Chihuahuan desert. I don't believe they have those cactuses, but little point on that, this is actually the largest protected landmass of Chihuahuan desert, I believe anywhere, not just in the US, I think anywhere, which is pretty cool. Hey buddy. Morning. You good? I don't know about you, but I had a Pop-Tart for breakfast. And it was s'mores. Huh. Remember kids, don't feed the wildlife. Just make them jealous about what you had for breakfast. Oh boy, I think I upset them. A couple signs here. What do we got? Emory Peak, another 1.5 miles. Bear country. Please do not leave pack unattended. And we've got an extreme fire risk. So, oh, and there's another tent site marker, see? Right there. So there's these markers along the trail to show you where tent sites are. TM number 1 is up there. That's a pretty cool one. High elevation. That's awesome. And then they got some bear boxes. Now, this is the first time on this trail since leaving the campground that I've seen the bear boxes. So they put that up here. Must be a little bit more of a problem around here. I guess if you did want to just drop your pack and hit the peak real quick, you could throw it in this bear canister, but I'm carrying like 6 or 7 pounds, so we're just going to do it. There's that sun. My first direct sunlight. Feels good. It's about 7:27, so we got an hour. Now, I hear the last little part of this is some pretty steep stuff. Not like technical climbing, but enough to, I guess, freak some people out or make note of it on several trail reports. So I don't know how much that's going to slow me down, but as of right now, we got an hour. It's looking pretty good, but this is beautiful, so it's not a loss no matter what at this point. Kind of going in and out of these flat sections, some nice trees. I'm sure it's good shade later in the day. Poking in and out of that and the exposed ridgeline. I can see some antenna towers up there, so that's kind of showing me where the peak is. Kind of wish I couldn't see it because it keeps reminding me of how far away it looks, but it can't be that far at this point. Whether I make it or not, it's going to be close. Hope I'm going the right way here. Oh, okay. So there's one of the towers I was seeing there, but that's not the actual peak, and that was the beep that it's 8 o'clock. I see the corner of a tower just over there. So this must be the peak. It looks taller than that, and this looks a little steep. So this is probably what people were talking about. I can see how that could freak somebody out. We're going up it. Whew. Good thing I spent all that nice leg rest in that car last night. Sleeping good. Okay, over here actually looks a little better than the exposure in between that gap. So we'll go up this, I suppose. Woo, look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get across here. Whoa, yeah. Man. Oh, it's there. Oh boy. It's actually pretty entertaining. Birds up here riding the currents. Pretty decent wind, especially through this channel here. They're just flying through there. Just about to the top of the Chisos Mountain Range. Out past the gap here. Straight down that way to the south. Mexico. And then, obviously, opposite side, to the north, US, as well as Chisos Base and Campground that we came from, right down there. Emory Peak, the tallest peak in this region. Not the tallest peak in Texas, but tall enough for me today. hanging out up here, relaxing. It's about, actually just hit 8:20, so I'm gonna start descending because I'm gonna do that carefully. If you're on the higher end of being afraid of heights, maybe not the best to come all the way up here, maybe stay down at the bottom. But this is really awesome peak, really cool. Oh man, what a morning. All right, so I'm glad I made it to the top of that. I'm happy about that. And I just hopefully get back to the car at a decent time. Man, will my wife appreciate these creepy trees. They are all over the place. They are everywhere. It's like creepy tree paradise. I think she'd be losing her mind right now. Definitely have to get back out here with her sometime. Maybe even do the car camp thing and just, I'll tell you what, maybe we could do both. But, you know, it put me over the edge last night when I came out of the woods. It's just, I've never smelled grilled hot dogs to a higher level in my life. It was just everywhere. It was amazing. And then I went back to my car and ate some pretzels or something. So looking forward to something on the drive out. Speaking of last night on the way in, it was pretty interesting. I'm walking out in the dark, of course, and eventually put the headlamp on just to make sure I'm not tripping over anything. And I don't know if anybody else has night hiked before and noticed this, but spiders, at least a lot of them, they will glow. They'll like reflect, and it almost looks like a small eye, like when you shine a flashlight at the eye of an animal in the dark. So I keep catching those, and I'm used to it, but you know, I'm like, oh no, it's just one, and it's too small to be an eyeball. Keep going. Happens again, but this time it's like, well, I don't know, it's pretty big. And there's two of them, and it's a little closer to my eye level. I was like, please be a deer, because I've seen the signs around here. You got all kinds of thoughts in your head at night, right? I look up, look a little closer, it's two deer, like spitting distance. I'm talking like spitting distance. Even started walking towards me. I was like, dude, just, you know, we'll go our separate ways. Glad being friends with you, but I think we'll keep going. But yeah, that was a pretty cool experience, just to meet up with some deer face to face in the middle of the night. Grade's a little easier now, flattening out. We're getting back to that beginning section where I was pretty much completely in the dark this morning, which feels like a whole day ago, but it was only 4 hours ago. Although we've done a lot in those 4 hours. All right, final descent. It's opening up. Been seeing a decent amount of lizards on the way out, but haven't been able to quite catch one on film. Speedy little guys. But a lot of wildlife. Deer twice. Ran up face to face on a rabbit this morning in the dark. I saw a tarantula crossing the road yesterday on the way in. I saw something in the middle of the road. I'm like, oh, is that like a turtle? And then I was like, oh, it's got a lot of legs. And yes, it was a tarantula crossing, and it was like right to the middle of the road when I went by. I might have went over top of it, so that was a little crazy. Lots of birds. It's just been really nice in terms of wildlife. And there's the campground returning to my view, which means the car should be right around this corner. Oh yeah, there's the Chevy Clown Star, or whatever it's called. Sonic LT. Bet it's nice and cool in here. No. All right, made it to the car by 10:30. Get cleaned up a little bit, maybe, I don't know, maybe switch the shirt, and get on the road. Phase 2 begins now. I'm not the type of person that over drinks water. In fact, it's usually the opposite. I usually don't drink enough, although I've been trying to get better at it. So I took 1.5 liters up there when I left at 5:30, finished it right as I was getting to the car, and just pounded another liter like it was nothing. I surprised myself. So it's 2.5 liters there, and you got to keep in mind that a good chunk of my hike was in the dark. So if you left when I was seeing a lot of these people go in today, when the sun's already up and beaten, a little tip, and I know you hear it all the time, but take it from somebody who's usually less inclined to take water. I am telling you, take water, plenty of it when you're out here enjoying the desert.
gotten off of backtracking out of the park and the road we were on before. Now we're on the new route. We're just gonna head north. So Route 385 with a nice speed limit of 75. Got a beautiful countryside around me. I'm gonna take this until I link up with 10. That kind of runs straight on over to San Antonio. I finally hit a little town, loaded up on some Red Bull, cost me an arm and a leg, but I need it, name brand stuff today. And we are on Route 10 now, so no cell service on that whole, what was it, 385, but really cool just rolling through, at least for a Yankee like me, just wide open Texas ranches, cattle, all kinds of really cool mountain features, so it's nice. And we're still getting some interesting stuff off of 10 here. Now my next thing to worry about is now that I have some cell service, pull up a weather report and see what the Gulf Coast of Texas looks like, and will there be camping? I know my wife is really looking forward to going out, so we'll see. Well, yeah. Doesn't seem to have changed much. Severe thunderstorms, downpour, on a beach, camping. Doesn't sound too good. Actually doesn't sound too safe. I'm up for doing some interesting things, although usually with Mike and TJ or by myself, probably wouldn't drag Sarah, but even if we were up for a challenge for safety reasons, it doesn't seem like the right thing to do there. So I guess we're gonna have to figure something out. Well, I'll tell you what, probably going to wrap up this segment of the adventure, I guess. Doesn't seem to have changed much. Severe thunderstorms, downpour, on a beach, camping. Doesn't sound too good. In the meantime, I'm going to keep cruising along Highway 10 here. I think we're going to call this a mission complete for Big Bend National Park. Until next time, I'm Syntax77, and right now, it's cheeseburger time. What happened? Where are the snares at? Oh, it's not over. All right. Who's holding the camera?
What? Sarah Cannon full of fun.
Well, we did come to Corpus Crispy. Corpus Crispy!
That's a brand of Krispy Kreme, in case you guys didn't know. Corpus Kreme.
It's a little gray. Stayed in San Antonio last night because the forecast was looking a little bad, but then woke up this morning and somebody said, let's just get in the car and go and see what happens.
It was done. It was tapping out.
Yeah, I guess after the work conference, he said we have to do something.
Yes, get me out of the hotel, please.
Now we just got to see what the beach looks like.
All right.
Maybe before we invest in like camp food and stuff.
Well, I feel like I'm going to stay on the beach anyway, so you can either do it with me or without me.
It's cheaper than a hotel, I guess.
Who wants to come along on a Sarah's Great Adventure by herself?
Pretty sure we shouldn't be taking this two-wheel rental out here.
It seems pretty hard so far. Look, it seems pretty hard packed. Doesn't it seem like it? Don't you think? No? I mean, look, this guy, he'll help us.
Oh yeah, he's doing fine.
Look at him, he'll help. Look at that, we just need one of those.
I would love to be a burden on that guy.
Does someone have a truck we can borrow?
Seagulls attacking you? I feel like it's a little windy here. I feel like you may be in denial about the impending severe storm.
I can't hear you.
You might have found somehow, I think you might have even written that weather report yourself that said that the storm was off. Because the park personnel kind of seemed like we were crazy. We said we're camping on the beach, which we retreated from. Then we came here, there were no spots. They gave us that little spot over there in the grass in a corner with no bench or anything. Now we're eating a lovely lunch mixed with sand. It's just...
Alright,
rocks to hold that down.
Just like you would camping, obviously.
I don't know about you. All this wind is making me hungry. That's a nice sizzle. That is a nice sizzle.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Severe warnings as this line comes down and towards the Gulf Coast. Flash flood warnings popping out. A tremendous amount of lightning with these storms as well. 900 strikes there.
Outdoor plans might be moving indoors.
Doesn't seem like we're on the beach anymore, Sarah.
No, we are.
Are we?
Yeah, absolutely.
You might feel like we're on the beach, but that doesn't look like the beach.
Really?
Well, I mean, way over there, actually, where I'm pointing,
Where?
way down there is Padre Island, where we were. The wind was relentless. I'll put it that way. Plus, like I said, I don't know what weather report Sarah found, but I swear everything was telling me that it was going to be bad. The winds are kicking up like you saw, and it was crazy. We ended up bailing. Most of the people there were in RVs, so good for them. They're in tanks, you know what I mean? But we were in a two-person tent, which even if we sustained the winds, as soon as it started raining or being heavy winds, we would have been stuck in a two-person tent. We brought it just to sleep in, so it would have been a little rough. So anyway, we said, thanks a lot, but we're rolling out. And we came to Corpus Christi Bayfront Hotel Room. Got all of our camp gear, frying up some hot dogs. Everything we brought to the beach, basically. The hot dogs, we got potato chips in our lovely cooler from HEB. Potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans, of course. We're just gonna cook it all right here and watch the storm roll in. Just about everything movable in the hotel room has been brought outside. So we're gonna eat dinner now. Cheers. Oh. All right, well, I feel like you're being aggressive. Oh boy. I do believe the final day is upon us.
Lies.
Tour of Texas.
All lies.
Sarah's in denial, but I think we've done just about all we can do. Maybe one more stop along the way.